We are back, new shop. It's a little bit different than the old one, a lot cleaner, a lot more organized, but a little more crammed. It's a little narrower. But anyways, we've got everything moved over here. It's been a very long weekend. So got the S13 over there, got the old motorcycle, and we got the Miata. Be cracking through some things over here. Got a bunch of nonsense that was left here that I'm trying to get rid of. That'll clear up a lot of room, kind of minimize a lot of things that I had from the other shop, like over there. And back here, we got a little storage area. So anyways, today we are gonna be cracking through the motorcycle. Problems with it, it had a carburetor issue at one point and it wouldn't run for very long. It would kind of warm up and then die. And then after that, it was stolen from a friend of mine. And it was crashed because of this carburetor issue. Basically, they stole it, they were riding, and then they stopped running, so they ditched it in the yard. And anyways, my friend gave it to me, and so I'm gonna get it repaired and hopefully get something to ride as the summer comes along. So far on that project, we've got everything removed, all laid on the table, and then all we gotta do now is rebuild it and throw it back on the bike. So since it was stolen, it has some wires that were cut up and spliced together and all that jazz. So we'll have to repair that. Probably have to pull off this ignition switch and kind of replace some of those wires. Other than that, it's a pretty clean bike. It's an 07 Ninja 250R and it's got 5,000 miles on it. Original miles, 5,000 from 07. So pretty clean bike overall, minus the crash damage. But luckily it wasn't too bad, just a little broken, some clips on the fairing. Now that we've got the shop here, I'm way closer to home. It was an hour plus drive to the old shop. Now it's about 15, 20 minutes here. So I should be able to get a lot more things done. Before I dive into the motorcycle, I'll give you a quick little tour. So this is the entrance right here. This is the front door. Got a big old garage door, but basically, pretty narrow. So my old shop was a 30 by 30, just about. This one is a 20 by 50, supposedly. I think it's a little shorter. Trying to keep it clean. We'll see how that goes. Knowing how cars go, the floor usually ends up black pretty quick. Is about it. I need to get some car dollies so I can move this thing around. The Miata needs a couple things that I know of for sure. It needs a key made. It needs a fuel line. Ran from, I think, the feed just by brief inspection. And supposedly it ran 2 years ago. But I mean, if you look at it, it looks like it's been sitting a minute. It was free, so cannot complain. So yeah, let's dive into this motorcycle. Pretty crusty. It's not great. We're gonna go in there, clean it all. Pretty crusty. Surprised this thing was running in the first place. So I got it pretty clean. There's like some grooves, some scratches. Not sure if you can really see that right there. So it's not even dirt. It's just it's all scratched up. Same with that plastic on the inside. I'm not sure what exactly happened. All right, we are back. It's the next day. Today, got the car up in the air, got the exhaust under it. Probably gonna fix up the exhaust a little bit. Currently I have it like fixed mounted. It's on some bullshit, not gonna lie. Like that, like what is that? Who's doing that? So I'm gonna fix that. We're gonna add an actual bushing in there. So far, I've gotten a fuel leak fixed. I didn't tighten this guy all the way down. It was a super easy fix. I'm gonna pause on the motorcycle for a bit, just because we're waiting on parts. Should run after I fix that ignition switch. So, inshallah. Also gonna do a bolt check on the car. I know the drive shaft is probably loose. It might even be just 2 bolts. So we'll see when we get under there. So following the exhaust, that's how it looks. That's how it fits up. Kind of curves under the diff, under the control arms. And then goes all the way to the front. There's a V-band at the very front where the downpipe comes down. Okay, quick update. I was doing a little bolt check, and I don't know if you saw the last video, but I did a little burnout, and well, I only had 2 drive shaft bolts in, and they're both not even hand tight. I just took them off with my fingers a second ago. So got very lucky. It didn't pop out and destroy everything. I'm gonna call the exhaust good. So the exhaust fits like so. I'll call that good right there. All right, we're moving through things. Got a couple things off the checklist, like bolt check, exhaust is on. One more thing I'm gonna do before anything else, because I'm tired of working on the car, is polish up this little coolant reservoir. I've already started a little bit. This just broke. I gotta go figure something out about these fittings. So yeah, something there that can connect these two while also still showing me the level would be nice. But I'm not super set on seeing the level anyways. So if there's something else that I find that could connect those two other than just a hose, I'd really like that. Got a good bit done on the S13 today. Exhaust is all mounted up correctly. Drive shaft's in. Got this a little cleaned up, engine bay wise. It's looking kind of good. Got the brakes working again. Turned out I had a little bit of a leak right here at the reservoir. So not sure if you can see right in there was a clamp at the reservoir to the master cylinder, and that part was leaking. Super easy fix, just had to tighten that clamp. Also had a fuel leak right up here. Once again, super easy fix, just tighten that bad boy up and we were all good. Fuel lines are also all tidied up. As you notice, they're not underneath here hanging. I noticed that the brake fluid leak that we had earlier starting to peel some of this stuff off, and so I'm gonna have to add some epoxy primer on there. I'm supposed to have a camera coming in soon, but it's been delayed by USPS. All my homies hate USPS. Eventually that'll come in and we might have some changes. Quality, inshallah, soon. New quality, running car, running motorcycle. Then we can dive into Miata. I've never painted a car before, but I definitely plan on painting this car myself. The body's pretty nice if you don't look at the paint. Body lines go, there's not really any major dents as far as I see. We'll see when we really get it down to primer. It is a dent over on this side in the fender, something we just replace. Fast forward a little bit, I've been diving into the bike and it's not going good. Pretty much I can turn the key on as it is right there. We're not getting any lights to dash. Battery's still good. Checking power at the switch. We've got power to the main power cable, but the rest of the cables are not getting switched on with the key on, so I'm assuming we've just got a bad switch. Guessing I just need to order another ignition switch, which will come with the key and should make things a lot easier because it should also come with the new harness. So this was a lot of useless work for nothing, but 'tis life. So anyways, while I was doing that, I got a little bit tired of that. And so I dived over to the Miata and I went ahead and pulled this little ignition lock out of here. So I should be able to go get a key made tomorrow, and then I can start working on the Miata while I'm waiting on parts for the old S13. S13, still waiting on hubs and a few other small things. Get it on the road and start driving. So tomorrow I'll get the key made. I will get the ignition switch order for the bike. Maybe start working on the Miata. This thing is disgusting. I'm not sure if it does it justice on camera, but the seats are filthy. The floor is disgusting. There's spider webs everywhere. It's not really a good time. I noticed this was over here when I first picked it up. A little screwdriver in the hose never hurt. And this looks like a fuel line right there that's not connected. It may just be this to this, which looks all right. Probably gonna pull this off, throw it on here. Supposedly when it was parked 2 years ago, we were getting, it was running, but it was running kind of rough and they were looking for a fuel leak. Fuel pump might be dead. Might need to drain the tank. See when we get there type of deal, which is hopefully tomorrow when I get a key made. So this is that little lock I was talking about. Kind of just pulled it out of the actual handle. It is the next day and we've gotten a key made for the old Miata. So took the little lock cylinder out of the driver's side. Note to anyone that ever has to do this, take it out of the passenger side. Might save you some coin. They charge me an extra $30, I guess, for some reason, because I'm not really 100% sure. Anyways, we got a key, tool, and we're gonna see if we can get this thing started up tonight. I know for sure I'm gonna have to take off this guy right here and connect this hose, I assume, back into this line right here. We're gonna steal the battery from the 240 and we're gonna see if we even get power to this thing. So let's dive into that. Take and actually take it back. We're looking at a 6-year-old battery here. So this bad boy is definitely gonna be toast. As you can see, we got power. Lights are blinking. So something's working, which is good. All right, so now we got power. Let's dive up here and let's get this fuel line back on. So just got oil. Probably can't see that, but you know, it looks weirdly fresh. Hopefully that's not a bad sign. Let's see if we can get this new key to work. Well, bad news. Key doesn't work with the ignition and only the locks. I'm assuming the locks have been changed at some point and I just spent $65 for no reason. Really wanted to see this thing run tonight, but it seems like it's not gonna be possible without some janky stuff going on. Meantime, since I don't have a key that works, I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually just remove the ignition switch. It might be a kind of a hassle, but I think it'll be worth it because I'm gonna need to regardless, I think. First step is to take off this little steering wheel, and I've kind of already got it started. There should be 4 bolts in the back for the airbag, 1 center bolt, and then it should just come on off, and it'd be much easier to work on this thing. So the airbag's off. Next, we will take off this big old nut in the middle. Okay guys, don't listen to this, but so what I did was pull this guy out of the cylinder. I'm just gonna turn the inside of that little guy with the flathead or the key, and then it should act as if, you know, the key's in there, minus the actual steering lock mechanism. So can't steer it, but we might be able to hear it run tonight. Okay. So we got power on, accessory power it seems. Let's go one more click. Vents are working. Don't hear a fuel pump. Let's try and crank her over. Oop. Diving into the car a little more. So got something wrong with the ignition still. It won't crank over with the key, but I have a technique where I like to jump the solenoid and it'll crank. This is a fuel line in. I'm gonna check if we're getting fuel. So I've got the key on currently in the on position, and all I'm doing is reaching this big old pry bar down in here. So I was curious if the starter was even working. I'm getting fuel out of this line right here. We're not getting anything. So this line right here goes straight to the tank. So next step is to pull off the old fuel tank cover, and we'll see if we can get another fuel pump in there tonight. And hopefully she'll start up after that. We'll see how it goes. Google search the old Miata forums. Figured out that this blue and red wire is the fuel pump power. Actually, if you look at this here, this is a blue and red wire. So maybe they just tapped into this. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, there we go. Okay. So that seems to be our problem for sure. This is really ghetto. I actually hate this. The reason they did that was because this wire doesn't reach this connector when it's plugged in. Proper thing to do is probably replace this wire completely. But now this actually has me curious what's underneath here. So let's pull off this electrical tape. All right, got that off. And these actually look okay. Let's do a little test. So let's put this in the right way. So that's in. So when I connect this, supposed to get power to the fuel pump right now, but we're not. What I'll do next is pull off this hat. We'll bench test it first, and I've actually got another fuel pump here that I can swap it out with. And we also get to see how dirty the tank is. We know the car's been sitting a while. Maybe something that we take into account here before we try and actually start it. All right, so I got the tank, hat, and thing out and pump, and it's pretty bad. So I was looking inside the tank, and I'll show you. Let me get a flashlight. So this is kind of what it's looking like. It's not a good situation. I mean, you can kind of tell it's not going to be good just by looking at this. Like, that's not how it's supposed to be. Got some electrical tape on the power wire. There's another problem. So the other problem is this, the tank. It's super bad. I don't know if it really does it justice on camera. So yeah, that's all just rust. I mean, this is just, like, look at that. I probably could punch a hole through here right now if I wanted to. But I mean, there's huge pieces of rust in here. I'm gonna try and vacuum some of this out. I don't know how much good that's gonna do, to be honest. It would save me some coin. Also, there's no fuel in here, so that would definitely be a problem for it not to start. As long as there's no holes in the tank, we should be able to clean this out pretty well. Main priority should be cleaning that tank out. It's really bad. Let's try and save this tank and see what we can do about that. And I do have a fuel pump laying around for this guy, so that'll be an easy replacement, but I do want to get a top hat ordered. Not pretty at all. Fuel level was showing, I think, 1/3 of a tank, but that's probably because this level was just stuck in place. It's stuck. We're kind of getting there. I don't know if you can tell, but the shop is full of some bullshit. I don't know what kind of, it's shooting out powder. Let's take a look at what we got so far. It's definitely looking better. That's how it's looking now. So yeah, the bucket in there is completely cooked. I mean, it's gone. There's nothing you can do about that other than the good old replace the tank kind of. All right, well, unfortunately, I think I've failed. So top hat definitely needs to be replaced. It's just not worth the hassle currently. I mean, this is already, in my opinion, fucked. Need to figure out what's going on with the ignition switch and get it working correctly so I can just crank it and not have to jump it with a pry bar. It may just be a relay. Might do that off camera because it's something that's kind of tedious and just checking different things. I think that'll be it for this video. Gonna get all the parts ordered, and hopefully next time I upload, we'll have some running and driving vehicles instead of just running. Until next time, peace.